Welcome to a day in my life as a mortgage content creator. Today I'm in Beverly Hills and I'm with my friend Nicole, who's an amazing real estate agent and took me to the most gorgeous house in Bel Air. They're asking $15 million. So we took a ton of content for Instagram, TikTok, and made some cool videos to show you how amazing it could be to live in a home like this and what it would take to finance it. And then we got to go to an amazing rooftop to get some drinks together and had a great day. Bye.
Know this, introducing the original Blood Clot podcast, not players. Tuned in semantic, special dedication, all the way from New York. Boom! Yeah man, SWOT semantic. Yeah me know. Boom! Soothing semantic. Yeah me know. Big ups to the man now. Soothing semantic.
On another episode of Soothing Semantics, I am your host, Rafi Pinsky. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe, like, share, and make sure to tune in every Sunday at 9 a.m. We changed the schedule from Monday at 6 a.m. to Sunday at 9 a.m., so make sure to stay tuned. Today, we have Margot Ettedgui.
Ettedgui.
Ettedgui, okay.
Yeah,
I tried.
it's like a 1 out of 10 can actually get it right, so it's okay.
Okay. Welcome, Margot. Nice to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. So I've been following Margot's page for a couple of months, and she is, give us kind of an idea, because you're in mortgages.
Yes.
You work with Triangle Companies, is what it's called, right?
Yes, so Triangle Companies has 3 different divisions, and I work for Financial Triangle, and so I'm the general manager of the mortgage brokerage. So we handle a couple different offices, a couple different states. We have New York, Florida, Texas. We just added Colorado, and we also have California. So I'm pretty much bouncing around between all the offices. And yeah, what we do is we specialize a little bit more in creative financing. So though we do all of the different kinds of mortgages that are really out there, we really like to specialize in bank statement programs, creative financing for self-employed individuals or foreign nationals that come and want to invest here, or first-time home buyers. I was a first-time home buyer at 24, so I really know what it's like to be in those shoes and to kind of all the concerns and questions. So I know all the best programs out there for them and can really help them walk them through that. So I think that's what makes us a little bit different than the rest, is we really like to cater to the individual and make the mortgage as customized as the client needs it to be.
Okay. I'm working with a mortgage company now. His name is Danny Tokar, a great guy, and there's so much I'm learning about the complexity of mortgage approval.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that people do. By the way, profanity is perfectly cool on here. If you want to throw some F-bombs and whatever, if you wish, you're welcome to. Just let me know.
Cool.
It helps me sometimes. So there's a lot of difficulty in getting approved, as you know. They're just, people know how to screw it up in many different ways, and you show it on your content.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the one that you recently did with the guy who took out a car, who bought a car during the process, and you were going to beat him up. It's funny.
Completely. Yeah.
I'll put that out.
Come on, let's go outside.
Go outside for what?
We're gonna fight.
No, and I love to create content off of just like real life stories, because that's where I get the majority of my inspiration, is like thinking back at a phone call or thinking back at a transaction, what went wrong, what went right, because I learn a lot from the transactions every time, because there's always something that happens, and then I get to teach everyone else through just making the fun videos of reenacting it in my interpretation. But yeah, there's so many things that can't kill the deal. And the thing about financing is it's not necessarily that it's complex. The thing with mortgages is really that you just need to understand the individual really well to really make sure that you find the best program, understand that program, and like help the client get everything that's needed to get approved. But I know that as a real estate agent, it can be overwhelming when you like speak to a mortgage broker and you find out all these things. Because I think it's really important for real estate agents to know all the different possibilities of financing, because it's only going to open up the possibilities for you to know what kind of clients you can actually work with.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how in both business in general in so many ways, but real estate and mortgages go hand in hand, and it's like you said, it's so important to know your clients.
Yeah.
when you have to kind of get something moving along, say you have, you need loan commitment after a certain amount of days and the client's slow with documents, you have to know how to approach that client.
Yeah.
Some clients will get turned off if you're a little pushy, and some clients need to be pushed. So I see that with my clients now, and with how, the guy, my mortgage guy, Danny, does it, and we kind of just always have to be in cahoots and, okay, Danny, this client is this way, let's kind of approach it that way. And it's exciting because, like you said, you learn so much in the process. And I like what you do with your content because you're able to get your message across with humor. And I find that when something is very robotic, people are turned off by it. They aren't as interested, but you're so bubbly about it. You have your colorful clothes and you're doing your little dances. And you always, and a lot of the time you have somebody that comes on with you. So it's always very engaging. So I learn a lot from your content. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I just also find, unfortunately, just like the overall content and even just the overall marketing strategies in the real estate and mortgage industry are really bland. They're boring. And when the younger generation, even when I started, I was like, is this really going to be the right industry for me? Am I going to be bored after a while? That was like my main concern. But it really is the great thing with technology and social media and just like being able to be creative is like you can really build your own narrative and kind of be in charge of, what kind of marketing you want to put out there. And I just always find, like, after what I've done over the last few months, being organic, being yourself is going to be the most effective way of getting business. Because at the end of the day, like, people want to know exactly who they're doing business with. They don't even care about your product, your listing. They really don't care. At the end of the day, they have a goal. It's to buy a house. So if they feel comfortable with you, they're going to come to you. They're going to look at you as like an advisor to really advise them the whole way through, even when they come to me, which I love when the buyers come to me first because I can tell them what they can afford and then maybe help them refer them to the right real estate agent by knowing just different personalities. So that's just what's great. It's like really the experience is really customized. It's really about finding like the people that work best for you, both ways, whether you're the agent or the client.
It's absolutely true. I was saying this on a recent podcast with my former coach Shika. I did an episode with her a few episodes ago. And there's another realtor, Jonathan Vega. Maybe you've heard of him. He's coming on hopefully next week. He's also a character. He does all these dances, and he went to this very nice house. I think he was representing the buyer for a showing, and he goes into the shower, grabs the shower head, and just starts singing. People love that.
Yeah.
No one's going to say, oh, this guy's unprofessional. We're not going to work with him because he isn't robotic enough. On the contrary, like you're saying, they love that originality. It brings so much flavor and realness to the conversation. And so long as you actually know your business and you are professional, that only helps you. That's what I found.
Yeah. So it's actually funny that you say that because I do get some comments, of course, are like, oh, like, that's so unprofessional. I would never want to do business with someone who, does videos or does TikToks or whatever. You're filtering the people out that you're not supposed to be doing business with. Like, you want the people that really love it and that genuinely want to do business with you. So at the end of the day, like, there's two things you need to keep in mind. You need to be proud of the content that you put out there, whatever that may be, and believe in it. And like, most importantly, just like be yourself, and just think whatever you put out there, as long as you would feel comfortable that a client or a work associate, would see it and not feel like it's controversial or, cringe, like whatever it may be, then put it out there. I mean, I always try to keep it relatively professional. If there's bad words, it's because it's like part of the song, part of the trend. I'm never going to try to like offend anyone or do anything vulgar. You need to keep it like within, what's reasonable. Right. Still, yeah.
I don't find your stuff to be unprofessional whatsoever.
Thank you.
But like, well, there's no but. And
there's
I love what you said about the filtering out of the clients that aren't in the first place. It's so important because not everyone's going to want to do business with you.
And that's fine. Okay.
That's fine.
That's okay.
I'm okay with that. There's still plenty of business. I did want to ask, I wanted to ask at the beginning, but we kind of went into this. What brought you to mortgages?
So At the age of 14, I had been working, started working in the fashion industry and had been working in the fashion.
Surprise.
Right, yeah, surprise, right? And I did love working with the clothes, being around the clothes, being able to be creative, and learning a lot about just people, customer service, working with older people and just corporate level stuff. That was great. But after a while, I was working multiple jobs and high level positions in the retail industry, going to school for fashion. And I wasn't seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in regards to when was I ever going to get that lifestyle that I really want to live, And it was starting to just make me worried the older I was getting. And so when I was 21 was when I kind of had that shift in my brain to be really what is it that matters? What do I want to do every day when I get up? What is it that I want to do? And I want to have that financial freedom to travel and to really live a great life. And when I really started looking more into the mortgage and real estate industry, I do have my father who's in the industry, and I'm lucky to have him in the industry. I'm very grateful that he's there because he was a great mentor to me. He was just kind of explaining more, what the industry was like, and I've always admired his lifestyle. So I was always if it's a lot about sales and a lot about understanding the product to be able to properly sell, which was a lot about what I was doing in the fashion industry, was product knowledge, learning how to sell that product the best way possible, and then getting to know the clients and selling it to them. So it was sales, As I was starting to learn, I took 1 year to really work at the very bottom to understand every single aspect so that I could really understand the product the best way possible. And then went ahead and got licensed and got into the industry. But it really worked hard to understand every single aspect because I came from fashion, so it really was polar opposite. And it took me a long time. And full disclosure, I think it took me my third time to take the test, to pass it, because it was really difficult. And it was a whole new language for me. And it was just, there was... people who always think that, her father's in the industry, it must be so easy for her. It definitely wasn't. It definitely was not easy, He's busy doing his own thing and really focused more so on the real estate side. Being in the real estate industry, you told me you saw one of his listings, which has nothing to do with the mortgage side, really. So for me, it was definitely difficult. It was a difficult transition. But once I started to really understand the product and really understand how to sell it in my own way was when I was okay, this is really going to be for me. I think I'm really passionate about this and I can really make this work for me. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you can still bring that fashion sense to the table, which you do.
Yeah.
Just sort of clothing line.
I mean, how I really saw that was because the first time I was going out networking, people would be I love your outfit, and so that was a conversation starter. And, at the end of the day in sales, it has everything to do with your branding, how you look, there's so many aspects, and you still have a very limited amount of time to make a first impression. So, I really think it is about understanding about branding and the side of the fashion industry that I was on was fashion merchandising, which in my opinion was more so the business of fashion and the psychology of how to sell something, how to properly merchandise something, and place it in a store in a strategic way to really get the client to buy it. So I've always just had that mentality of just sales, presentation, branding, and just how to stand out in the most appropriate way.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were able to take that with you and bring it to mortgages.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw that not a lot of people were taking anything a lot of people that were in the mortgage industry. I had seen that it was just a lot of people that had been there for a long time, and that were stuck in this mundane, way of doing business.
Right.
So the reason why, because a lot of people always say why didn't you choose real estate? Well, I was I just saw less competition in the mortgage industry. Whereas on the real estate, I did see a lot of younger people and yeah, just saw like, ooh, it's gonna be a little bit tougher on that side.
There's more room for flavor in real estate, I think.
Sure.
There are more people because you're showing a property, you're outside more.
Sure.
So
But you know what I was bothered with the real estate, which is what bothered me with the fashion industry, was that you had to be responsible for inventory. So if you had a listing, you know, like it had to be like, how am I gonna sell this product?
Right.
When I thought about the mortgage side, I was like, hold on a second, everybody needs money. It's not gonna be very difficult to sell a mortgage, you know? And I would be it would be easier. Yeah, but it would be easier for me to work with real estate agents on helping them sell a house by like being able to find buyers who need financing and who need the house. Like it just was like a greater opportunity for collaboration, in my opinion. So I was like, oh, I think that if on the mortgage side, it's going to be less of a competing against people and more so being able to add value for real estate agents and for home buyers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get where you're coming from. So, and I've seen you do content in Colorado, because you went Colorado, Cali, you've done content with luxury realtors with very, very nice properties. So, what's that kind of been like? What's the experience like?
I mean, you know, the experience has been great just because like the people are amazing. Like, you know, real estate agents that have been working very hard and have worked their way up to getting 10, 20, $25 million listings are phenomenal people, and you learn a lot from them. So that's been really great. And then just being able to think completely outside of the box on how to market those kinds of properties and showing people the possibilities of how to purchase it has been definitely eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people, because those videos definitely perform very well. And it's just been fun for me. It's just like, I just feel every day is completely new, which is really great. And it really allows me to just keep pushing outside of my boundaries every day, like seeing how far I can push my limits of creativity. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been nice.
I'm looking forward. I'm kind of manifesting this, by the way. I'm manifesting a very, very nice several $1 million property and doing a video at some point. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. So this is a mental picture that I'm putting in my head.
And as long as you work towards that, if you have a goal in mind and you just like strategize on what's the best way to get there, you will get there. It's just a matter of like hitting the right doors, finding the right people. And I think you're doing a great job with just like this podcast, because there's some really great quality people coming on here. So I think
I appreciate
Rafael's your guy for a home and for everything in between.
That's it. Well, you can call me Rafi, everyone. That's what it's short for. Just want to expound a little on what you said. When you have a plan in mind and it's a little bit distant, and you celebrate the small wins, you don't always focus on the end result, but you focus on the process. And what you do, what the small things you do every day to get further towards that goal. Oh yeah. It's such an exhilarating, enjoyable experience. Yeah. And obviously you're gonna have those bad days, and you're gonna have days where you feel like you're backtracking. But if you have that very, very strong, confident inner voice that says you're going to have that. You just need to put in the work, show up every single day, block out the negative noise, realize that you're the only one who's stopping your growth and progress. Oh my God, yeah. Nobody else really gives a shit. That's the reality. Yeah. We're always saying, oh, well, what are they going to say? You know, when I put out my podcast in the beginning, I said, well, people might say, oh, he's another asshole with a podcast. Yeah. That's a deterrent for some people. Who gives a shit? Yeah. I enjoy this. And that's why I'm so grateful that I found two things I like, and I can intertwine them both. So I can use this as a platform to connect with people like you, which is awesome. And the sky's the limit, you know? So the more it progresses, the more natural you get. So for now, for you, content creation is just second nature to you. It's definitely, but you know what it is? It's also just like, there's like this creative burst inside of me. Like sometimes I'm like, I gotta get up and like film something, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like even stuff like this, I know I'm gonna be leaving here and I'm like, I need to get to a ring light stat, you know what I mean? Because I just have a bunch of ideas that start like rushing through. There was something you mentioned that I wanted to expand on that I'm now blanking on. Was it Did it have to do with what I said about progression, little by little, and kind of appreciate?
It had to do with showing up every day.
Okay.
So, you know, do you know about Clubhouse? Are you on Clubhouse?
I have it. I'm not on it. Actually,
Okay.
I definitely will.
Oh my God, you would love Clubhouse, and you would be great for Clubhouse because, first of all, it's an audio-only platform, which I'm sure you know that, but in my opinion, it's like a live podcast show.
I thought Clubhouse was video too. It's
No,
audio?
it's only audio. And so like podcasters have taken over, you know, like the LinkedIners have taken over because it's very much like networking. And Clubhouse is actually one of the places that has brought me, you know, into contact to be able to share my knowledge and my expertise with those big agents that have these crazy huge listings and that just by hearing my voice and listening to me speaking and adding value to people's like lives on whatever topics and stages we're talking about, they just like immediately, it's really cool because you can speak, and as you speak, they can like check out your Instagram profile as you're speaking and like do their auditing and be like, is she really for real or is she bullshitting? You know what I mean? And they do their audit and they come back to like listen to you and they're like, okay.
Right.
And then so then they're very quick to be like, let me DM her and like I want to collaborate with her. And that's kind of been how I've been able to get the opportunity to work so closely or be a preferred lender for a lot of these really big agents, was just showing up every day on every single platform. Every single platform. I didn't know where my next client or my next agent or my next deal was going to come from. I just made sure to show up. Clubhouse has brought me some, so I always make sure to show up on Clubhouse. TikTok, like I love it, it's my passion. Instagram, I know that like a little bit of the older clientele is there. So it really is just knowing like where everyone is when they're on the apps and like hitting it at the right time.
They see you're out there. You have credibility. There's no denying that
you're showing up on their phone every single day.
Right. They see your face again and again and again. There's this mental picture of Margot,
Exactly.
Margot. So they're like, well, who do I do mortgage? Who do I hire for mortgages? Margot, right?
If you don't think of me after all the videos I've done, I swear to God.
I'm hiding my knife set right now. Someone shows up with a purple blazer and green pants. I wouldn't shit my pants.
I know I look like Barney, but it's okay. But it's super important, and to the point where like, you know, you have to think about the digital real estate now. And a lot of like digital real estate is, for example, taking the market share on hashtags, for example. I know that like I got in on TikTok at the right time, and on all my videos, obviously because it's mortgage related, hashtag mortgage. And not long ago when I was like, what happens if I type in just mortgage in the search bar on TikTok? Out of like 269 million videos, I saw my face holding like 6 out of the top 10 spots on the hashtag mortgage. So I was like, oh my God, I'm like the poster child for mortgages on TikTok.
It's amazing.
Which is like insane, but it's like just to tell you again, that consistency is what got me there. And it wasn't even like stressing about getting there or like focusing on numbers or anything. It was just about creating content that like I was happy with, you know, because obviously if I was happy with it, someone else was going to be happy with it, and that's all that mattered.
People sense it. I can see when I watch your videos, there's no, I gotta do a video.
Yeah.
You look thrilled. It's so you. So when people sense that, people can smell that.
Yeah,
they see that they want to do business with someone like that. For the podcast, I've had to put a tremendous amount of work into it, but I love it. It's not a job for me.
This is a lot of amazing work has gone into it. Really well done.
Thank you. It's not a job for me. Does it take time away from time I could be chilling? Sure, but I get so much more enjoyment out of the work I put in, and everyone that knows me sees that every week without fail. Since I started, I've put out an episode. I don't plan on that changing anytime soon.
That's amazing.
And that's the beauty of it. You can go so much longer and be so much more consistent if you actually are in love with what you do. And it's whenever I see people doing that, I automatically I'm kind of drawn to them because there's that common sense of passion in something.
Yeah.
And so many other people in mortgages and real estate don't have that. I see even with realtors that have been in the business longer than me, they don't have that. It's so, like you said, it's so mundane, it's so dry, that for me, it's only a matter of time until they plateau. They may continue in the industry, but I don't see it kind of progressing and building because they kind of show up where, oh, okay, well, if I get a nice listing and I can make some good money, then it's good, but I don't know, it's a $200,000 listing and I'm not in the mood today. But if you can get creative, I did a video recently, I'll show it to you after the episode.
Oh, it's you guys again. Well, looks like it's time to put my big boy clothes on. Rafi Pinsky here, a realtor from the South Florida area.
I did one marketing video. I worked with this videographer. He does pictures and videos, and he's very talented. And he's never done something like we've done.
Okay.
So basically, I came up with this random idea. I was planning it in my head, and what we basically did was, so right on the, not this way, but on the other side of my apartment, there's a view of the intracoastal. So I came up with this random idea. I took my beach chair from the back, from my trunk, put it right off the intracoastal. I put on a pair of shorts, a tank top. I put together well, it wasn't even a screwdriver. It was like a Mango, Arizona. I went to Party City. I got one of those little toothpicks with the umbrellas. I put it in, had a glass. I sat in the chair with the drink, with flip-flops, and I'm just chilling right by the water.
Right.
And I put together some little script, and he starts videoing. I snap my fingers, and the next shot, you see me wearing a suit. And then I get up and I start marketing myself, and I paid a marketer $300 to put it out on these 3 Instagram pages with quite a large following.
Nice.
And I was mainly targeting the Jewish communities in the tri-state area.
Nice.
And I know real estate, supposedly you're not supposed to mention who you. Okay. I know I'm Jewish. I grew up in New York.
Yeah.
I know that they're looking to move here. It was a very strategic planned
Sure.
thing. And
It's
I
your
got
niche.
I got about 8 clients from it.
Yeah.
I haven't checked it in probably 2 months, but I think I put it out about 3 months ago. I got over 20,000 views.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's well over that by now.
Nice.
And it just came from simple creativity that came to fruition.
Yeah.
And made it a reality, and it was so simple. It wasn't complicated. And I took that confidence because it worked. It brought me business. And now I already have a much more creative and larger plan ahead, and I'm going to do it many, many times going forward. It's just a matter of having those properties. And I mean, it's so exciting. I got amazing feedback from people. People are like, dude, it was amazing. It's such a creative idea. And nobody else in my office did that.
Yeah.
Most realtors don't do that sort of thing because for them it's far-fetched. It's, what am I going to bother for? It's not the norm. No one else is doing it. That's exactly why you should do it because it sets you apart.
Yeah. There have been some really amazing, I've been really blown away by a lot of real estate agents that have embraced the evolution of what's going on with this whole, creative social media, marketing tactics, because I think people are tired of feeling like they're being sold on something. They really want to be doing business with their best friends. So if they can't feel like they relate to you, they're probably not going to want to do business with you. It's the honest truth.
The truth is so factual.
Yeah.
That's why I love the business, because it's such a relationship-oriented business.
Definitely.
And scripts to some degree are important, but I find myself on most of these appointments.
I can't do scripts. I can't do it.
Right.
I see a lot of my friends have amazing scripts, and they're doing these POV videos and full scripts. I've done it once, and it's just so time consuming, and for me, it's not my thing, and I think everybody has their own style of content creation. I really get inspired from a lot of movies that I watch, a lot of just remembering what happened in my transactions and my day-to-day. That's really where I get a majority of my creation.
Harry Potter and SpongeBob. I've noticed.
Harry Potter and SpongeBob.
I noticed it's a big trend.
People of Bikini Bottom, as the manager of...
SpongeBob?
Hold the phone, folks. I'm getting an important news flash from Mr. Krabs. Go ahead, Mr. K. I'm making a complete what of myself?
You applied first for the Defense Against the Dark Arts post, is that correct? Yes.
But you were unsuccessful?
Obviously.
And it's also because like I'm also just paying attention to what is currently trending on social media. So I do a lot of, research and development, if you want to call it, where throughout the week I am going on TikTok because I do find that over there the limits to creativity are literally endless. And just in my opinion as a creator for short form, it's the most user-friendly. So I do really take a lot of inspiration from a lot of creators and seeing what they're doing, what are the trends, what are the audios that are seriously performing well, why are videos going viral, what are people commenting on, what filters are they using, just everything, really analyzing all of the aspects and then fully recreating my own version of that. So obviously when I'm watching, I'll give you a really silly example, but if I'm watching, for example, a video where the context of the video is the girlfriend is paying for the boyfriend's meal, whatever. I'm okay, but the audio was funny. This went viral. All of the things take off for me as to this could be a viral video. The concept was there, and then I'll completely change the context, but maybe still use the frame shots or the audio, of course, but just understanding what goes viral and how to recreate virality. I'm always saying that on Clubhouse because a lot of people ask me a lot of social media questions on there. And for me, it's really just about studying virality and understanding how to recreate that. Because you're going to see a lot of the things that you're going to see on social media have nothing to do with mortgages and or real estate. So you have to just see something and being able to immediately reinterpretate the context, which is what happens now with my brain naturally. As I'm watching a video, it has nothing to do with what my brain is thinking, and I'm thinking of, which is what happens when you watch Harry Potter. I'm watching a Harry Potter scene, which has nothing to do with mortgages, and I'm ding, this could be a way of explaining, and it's just by listening to the words. Now that I think about it, even in the songs, I'm listening to the words and I dissect them literally word for word, and I'm but maybe we could do a video with that concept. And it's about taking concepts that are just so well known, and then bringing your own flair to it.
That's amazing. It's so cool.
Yeah. Well, I hope it can work for other people. Because it's worked for me. It
definitely, you have to give yourself some credit because for some people, for you, you have a very creative mind. For some people that really, they have so many roadblocks to get there. Not only do they not have the creativity naturally, I'm not saying you haven't worked on it and built it over time.
Yeah.
Some people are petrified of getting out in front of the camera to begin with. I've had guests on my episode who were just, I feel so uncomfortable, I'm nervous, and this.
Fair enough.
So aside from doing all the edits and dissecting audio and video and making it relatable to mortgages, they have 10 fears prior to all that.
I really, and so that everyone can totally understand, I had no experience whatsoever in social media, video making, anything of that nature prior to June of 2020. Okay, nothing. I'm talking, I had all of 1,025. I remember, because I was screenshotting to
Instagram,
progress my journey. I was just curious. Maybe one day. Yeah, on Instagram, because I didn't have any other platform.
So you went from, you had 1,000 followers in June 2020. Now you have over 30,000.
Just on Instagram.
And then on TikTok you have 300,000.
Yeah. Which is crazy to think that because I had really nothing to lose. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I had 1,000 followers on Instagram and I was nobody knows me. Who's gonna care? What do I care what they think in any ways? Do you know what I mean?
That's such a big part of it, though.
I swear, so when I hear that kind of stuff, I'm it's just you and your phone. Right. Don't think about the rest, because it doesn't matter if you're thinking about what other people are thinking, the content is gonna show that. They're gonna see, as soon as they land on your video, they can see the insecurity, they can see there's something off, You know what I'm saying? It's
Spot on.
forced.
Spot on.
And who can really see it is the newest generation, Gen Z, like the people that are really like on TikTok and Instagram and just on their phones 10 to 12 hours a day. Like they have a sixth sense for knowing if this is organic or not.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's really interesting to be
so
able.
Spot on.
Yeah, and that's again like why I say you have to be on every platform is because you never know where your next client is going to come from, and you always have to market for the future. Yes, TikTok is primarily a younger generation, but they are actually, because of the technology that we have figured out how to earn income faster than millennials and boomers have, and therefore will become homeowners younger and younger. Like, I mean, my clients are becoming younger and younger, which is amazing. And I think it's just like, it is amazing. So you do have to just be everywhere, but not spread yourself out too thin. Like, be on the platforms that do resonate with you. Like, I'm not on every single platform, but I'm on the ones that I truly believe in. So for me, that's Instagram, TikTok, and Clubhouse. You know, what you do here, I commend it because it's a lot of equipment, a lot of work, a lot of time. And I can't do long form. Like, I'm just always intimidated by it. I've tried. I know everyone has been pressing me about a YouTube channel, but I can't do it. Like, it's a lot of work. So it's just like, it really is whatever works for you. People shouldn't feel like, oh, but I'm scared of TikTok. Then don't do TikTok. Do what works for you. Go on LinkedIn. Like, go on YouTube. Do a podcast. Write a blog. Right. But do something. Don't do nothing. And expect everything.
Yeah, well, that's most people. That's most people. That's the funny thing. Yeah. And then when you get to where you want to be, they go, oh, well, they're just lucky.
Thank you. I was just going to,
they always do that. They always do that.
They don't get it.
Yeah, but you're just lucky
because
you had different.
Yeah.
Well, yes. When you're sitting and doing shit, it's easy to say that you're lucky. Truthfully, I don't have anyone telling me that because I don't think anyone could say that about me personally. Being that if they know who I am, I definitely luck was not in my favor for so much of my life. I think I've been able to bring luck to the table because of opportunity, because I grab opportunities. I'm aggressive when it comes to like grabbing opportunities.
But once you start to get like bigger listings or bigger opportunities, that's when they're going to say, oh, well, he was lucky. He had so-and-so on his podcast. They'll figure out something. They'll come up with something. That's what's crazy.
I couldn't give two shits.
That's the thing. Yeah. You have to literally like live your life for you with blinders on, and just if you're happy with what you're doing, that's all that matters.
And ironically, that's when everything opens up, because the people that don't like you or don't appreciate it, they can go take a hike. Let them go. But you build this genuine support system of people who really do care and do support you, and those people are there.
And that understand you, that want to do
business. And they're like-minded, they have that creativity, and you're building a network where you're unstoppable.
Exactly.
Because if you need whatever you may need in any given field, you have that person.
Yeah.
You know, and they have you, and it's just.
And the referrals will be so strong because it will be genuine people referring you to other people, you know, with like a genuine respect. So it's really important. We can't stress it enough. Just be yourself. It's super important.
Yeah, most people are very insecure about it. They don't realize that they're their own biggest critic.
Definitely.
And most people, quite frankly, are doing what they're doing. You have some people that are completely, you know, I'll be very blunt. There are people that to me are completely useless. And what I mean by that is they're humans. I respect them as humans, but they really don't bring much to the table day to day. Sure. They just don't. They have a job. I mean, maybe they fix things, so they do help society in some sort of way. But 90% of their time is spent bitching and moaning about why they don't have what they have or they aren't doing what they're doing. And they don't seem to understand that the large majority of the world has no idea who they are and couldn't care less as to whether they're doing well or not. People by nature are in it for their own best interests. I'm not saying that, you know, people don't care about other people, but as a whole, human beings are focused on themselves. So when you're putting out content and you're trying to build a business and you're so focused on what Tim, Bob, Bill, Adam, Jane are thinking, it's a crippling way to think, because it's so irrelevant. And when people start to understand that, when I realize that, it's so freeing, you know?
Yeah, that's a good word. It is definitely freeing. I remember we were like messaging about like what we were going to talk about, and at one point you were like something about your hair. And speaking of
by the way, I know exactly what you're going to say because I actually watched the content. Can I say? I want to bring it up and you tell me if it's right. So yeah, Margot, I saw one of the episodes. This was a while back, and you mentioned that some people, when they meet you, they don't think you're as professional because that's it, right?
No, well, that's not why I did it.
But this is what you said.
I mean that all the time.
No, I'm not saying that you do it.
Oh no,
no.
See, I was going to expand because you said it's freeing once you start to like not think about what live for yourself. It becomes freeing, right?
Right?
So I was going to like basically introduce the story as to why I decided to dye my hair the crazy colors.
Okay.
I had never dyed my hair any sort of colors. When the pandemic started and I started to like create content, I was quarantining by myself in a house that I had purchased 2 years ago and had spent almost 1 year, like 8-9 months renovating. In April of 2020, it was like livable. Like I just needed to like go to Target, get curtains, whatever. And it was like in like basically a white box. Like you could say it was basically like a sociopath living in there. You know, it's fine. And that's when I was like, I need to do something. I need to create a studio. Like I need to do something for myself. And I was thinking YouTube in the beginning, but then I was like, no, like it's too time consuming. It's just too intimidating. Got onto the TikTok thing because it was easy for me and all of that. And I started to like build out like my home studio that you see this like pink wall thing, like this like collage wall, and really wanted to like just build a creative space for myself. And as the creativity started to like come out of me, like this like Pandora box that was like opening every day more and more, I was like just thinking of all of the things that I've wanted to do that I've always like held back on. And I remember being really young and like really young, like 17, 18, like having to like ask like my parents' permission to like dye my hair kind of thing. And they're like, are you crazy? Do you know what people would think about you? And then after all this time had passed and like everything I was doing, I did of course ask my manager, my boss, my father, you know, hey, like what do you think if I like would dye my hair? Like, you know, what do you think people would think? And he was like, you know your stuff so well at this point that, you know, if they can't see that from the first few words of you speaking, probably not going to like want to do business with you in any ways. You know, and I was like, okay, I love that because it really just means like, this is going to be able to strengthen my confidence in the way that like, I know who I am, I know what I know, and like, I'm very confident in business settings at this point where, you know, it's not the color of my hair that's going to make the difference of whether I'm going to like get this deal done or not.
Okay.
So, being that I knew that I was going to, because I was very, very good with the lockdown. I like really stayed in. I remember like counting down every day that I was like really locked in and did everything right, adopted a dog, like did all of that, you know, and like didn't leave my home office. And the hair color was really just me living for me. Like the whole quarantine, like I really just like got to know myself more than ever before, because before quarantine I was traveling so much and like living my life at like 1,000 miles an hour and never really got to like spend time with myself and figure out that creative side that like, unleashed who I am today, which is just a more evolved version of who I am, I guess I could say. And I'm proud of my journey. So
but I'm curious though, why the purple specifically?
Well, it started with pink, just because I was like, okay, like pink is an easy color to like transition into, and then I did purple because it was like again easy to transition from pink to purple, and then one day I was like, oh my god, I want to do green, and I remember like the lady at the salon putting the bleach in my hair to like go green. And before she like took the foils out to then put the color, like she had already mixed in the green, I was like having a panic attack, and I was like, you know what? This is where I draw the line, is purple, because at the end of the day, like, you know, I do think fashion and merchandising and aesthetic, and I just thought purple was the best color that like just suited me well in terms of like the skin tone, the eye color, and easy for me to just create fun aesthetics and outfits that were still professional and still fun. And I just felt like green. Yeah, I know the journey of colors now and like the way they fade, and like green just could have been a little too much for me. So I love purple. It really grew on me. And actually, when I had my hair pink and then I went from purple, the first 2-3 videos that I did with the purple hair, I don't know if it had anything to do with the purple. I mean, I saw a lot of comments about the purple hair, but they went absolutely viral. I'm talking like millions of views viral. So it was like, all right, purple it is. We're going to brand around the color purple. So it was like summer and like, transitioning. And it was just like, purple's a great color for all year round. So I love it. And it's like a lilac, lavender color, not purple. But yeah, so purple it is.
It's crazy. Millions of, I'm so, God, I fucking love this podcast. It's like, I get to talk to people who have huge followings, and it's so enjoyable. It's so cool.
Well, I think like we get to learn a lot from each other, which is what's great with these podcasts.
I'm even seeing, have you heard of Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, huge fan of his.
Yeah.
So
let's get him on here. Gary V, come on
V.
down.
Oh, I'm getting him, believe me.
For sure.
He said something about podcasting. First off, he said everyone should have a podcast, and then he said something very blunt. And he said, never focus, he said for podcasting at least, never make your main focus about views. Make your content, this goes back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Make it real. Focus on the things that matter to you, and eventually what you want will come to fruition. And he said at the end of the day, you still can't expect your podcast to be huge because there's only a very, very small percentage of podcasters who really make it. It's a tough market. You have to bring content to the table that really, really is different.
Yeah.
It has to really be of value. And I study other podcasters. First off, the large majority of podcasters aren't consistent, which is first and foremost.
Consistency.
They miss tons of episodes. They aren't doing video. They're not leveling up. They're not meeting the competition. Now, I have a long way to go. My equipment can be better. The quality of the audio, the quality of the video, for sure. And I acknowledge that. But I understand that at the end of the day, I'm here for the long game.
Yeah.
And I know that I have a knack for conversation and connecting with people and networking with people. So for me, it's only a matter of time. And it could take a few years, and I welcome that with open arms.
Right.
Like I said, I'm here for the long game. So I already know that I'm blowing past thousands of podcasters, even ones that have been here for years. I just know it. I'm already, and I know some podcasters that are kind of in my space, like friends of friends and people of people. I've already, and I don't like to say beat them, but I'm very competitive. So I want to just surpass all of them.
But you know what? It's all about consistency. In the beginning when I was creating, like for TikTok, I mean, the views were nothing that motivated me to keep doing videos.
Well, it's because the hair was pink.
Because it was brown. Ew, who cares? No, how boring. No, I'm kidding. But it was just like, it didn't matter because I kept going back to my videos and be like, like these are great. You know what I mean? And I felt like it didn't matter. And what was great was
Can I quickly?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing when you make a video, like when I have a podcast and there are certain bits of episodes where I say something fucking phenomenal, and I look back and I'm like, yes. I look back and I'm like, that was amazing. You know what I mean? And it really takes a confident person to be able to look at something and say, that was fucking awesome. Yeah. Like, I give myself props.
I love you now. You have to be your greatest fan.
Isn't that awesome?
You have to hype yourself up.
It's amazing.
You cannot rely on anyone else to give you feedback, compliments, and actually, I remember, the whole time, so 99.9% of the time when I'm creating, I never ask for, third-party opinions when I'm editing or, hey, what do you think about, because that's what's going to fuck everything up. No, you have to go off of your first gut feeling. Don't you dare try to take 57 takes for your one scene because they are going to see it was overproduced. It's got to be natural in the moment. Jim, I was going to say something else.
I don't know.
No!
You get it. Hold on, let's try to backtrack. Try to think, take your time.
It was about content not performing. Yeah, so now, so I got it, but it's actually really frustrating because speaking about content that doesn't perform well, I I know that it affects my mood. I know that like when a video that I really believed in doesn't perform well, I know that I'm like, damn, like I really believed in that video. Like what happened, you know? But you can't like think about it for too long. You have to be like, all right, like let's just keep going. Let's put something else out. Maybe like the next one will hit right, you know? You can't be like, oh, I'm going to stop because it didn't perform well. Because I see that happening so many times to people where they're either going to like start to go on TikTok and post or start to post Instagram reels and maybe like 1 or 2 will do good and they'll keep posting. And then as soon as it like really doesn't do great, like, they stop. They're like, it's not for me.
They quit so easily.
And you know what? Like, I actually took a 3-week break from TikTok because I just like, I'm so stupid. I do this to myself all the time. It's like sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm slacking. And then I like push really hard and burn myself out on creativity. And then I'm like, I can't, like I'm good. Like I can't, I don't want to do another video. I don't want to edit. And like, it's one thing to do the videos. I love always doing them, but then you have to edit them and caption and hashtag and make sure it's all ready to go. It's like post at the right time. And it's like all this shit, right? So I like took a 3-week break from that because I had created so much content on TikTok and I was like posting like 6 times a day because I was like frustrated that my like numbers were just like not performing well. So I know the way to like beat the algorithm is just push it into high gear. And I had so much content that I was able to recycle for Instagram that I just like put TikTok on the back burner for 3 weeks. Now as I want to get back on TikTok, like trying to post stuff, I have 300,000 followers on there and I'm like struggling to get 1,000 views right now on my videos, but I know the name of the game. I know it's all about like the algorithm having a conversation with me and being like, this bitch is back again. Oh, now she wants to get views after her 3-week break. Like, no ma'am, you need to put in the work before we can reward you with views. I know that's how it works. I know it. Because I see my friends that have also hundreds of thousands of followers, and I'm like, how come they keep getting consistently great numbers of views? I'm like, because they're just posting multiple times a day. And though they're not necessarily thinking about like what they're posting, just flood the algorithm so that the algorithm knows that I'm loyal and so that it can reward me with views.
Interesting.
You see what I'm saying? But like, I don't think about that because I'm so much more concerned on the actual pieces of content and the quality of it rather than just like busting out content all the time for the algorithm. I did that in the beginning, even though I was also focusing a lot on quality because I knew it mattered. But I think in the beginning when you're trying to grow a big following, you have to be like, I mean, so on top of it. I'm talking, yes, like 3 to 5 times a day because you need to literally like outpost people and like disrupt the algorithm to the point that it's like, this guy again, like, all right, just give him enough views, you know, give him what he wants, you know? But
it's like you're knocking on the algorithm's door.
Come on! It's literally that, and it's really funny because a lot of people do videos about like them trying to talk to the TikTok algorithm. Anyways, but yeah, so it is tough and sometimes it is discouraging, but like, as I said, like I woke up this morning and I saw like the last few videos that I've posted performed really horribly, but I was like, I'm fucking obsessed with these videos. I fucking love them. And I know that like, all right, like, you know, TikTok wants to like give me a little slap on the wrist and like not show my videos to anyone for right now. Fine. I know what they want. I'll post more consistently. And I know that these videos either will have their moment and will get pushed into the algorithm at one point, because that happens all the time where like days, weeks, sometimes months later, it'll just go viral. It's really weird. But I know like, you know, I've been extremely consistent with Instagram. So like that's going to perform well there. And it's all about like knowing how to properly recycle your content, you know, and like really knowing how to stretch the distribution of like one piece of content, like how you're doing like for a YouTube podcast. So knowing about like how to like create one content and like just recycling it so many different people can see it and take their own interpretation of it.
I want to make a separate YouTube channel just for clips.
Well, they have the YouTube Shorts, which is extreme. Well, you know, which is like extremely powerful for the like YouTube algorithm because they're competing with like TikTok and Reels. So you could very well do 15 to 30 second clips of either the video and then be like, you know, click here to watch the full length, and then it can like take them over.
So
but short form video algorithm is by far, I think, the most insane algorithm that has ever been like put into the digital world. It's long form is one thing, and the algorithm is very complex and takes a long time to like get, thousands, millions of like views quickly. But it's something about short form algorithm that's just like extremely powerful for.
Well, I think wouldn't you say it's because people have a short attention span?
Well, 1,000%.
A 30-second clip, if it has a good enough title,
1,000%.
they go through it quickly and they say, I want to see more of this. Where's the rest of this?
100%. But that's the thing. It's just like 100%. It's just about understanding like the evolution of the mind and how people now want to consume content. And it's very clear that they want it short, fast, and now. And they want to be the ones to be up to decide if they want a longer version of that.
Right.
Because I get it all the time, even in my comments. Do you have a YouTube on like a more in-depth version of that? I don't, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
One day, hopefully.
Yeah, I do the longer, I don't do the shorter. But I was actually making some bits, so I have a tiny Instagram page for my podcast, and eventually I'm going to pay somebody to
chop them up for reals.
Yeah, well, no, we already did that. My editor does that, but he charges extra for it, which is fine. But I'm really trying to build. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build the main podcast page. I have it all planned out, but I'm always open to new ideas. I'm going to start probably working on the bits again, like for your episode. I definitely want to do that because I would like to put it on TikTok. But there's so much that goes into it.
There is so much that goes into it. And for people that, like, I even hate when, like, people try to hate on, like, big content creators, like, big TikTokers, and like, oh, like, they're so lucky. They do nothing and get millions. Hold on a second. You know what it takes to create content?
Right.
Okay. Do you know how early I had to wake up to be able to film a certain amount of videos before I got here, to film long form with you, and then create all my content on the weekend so that I can actually like do my job and get these people approved for their mortgages that I'm making these videos for? Like, it's a whole organization and setup and editing and time and dedication.
They only see the end result, though.
They see the 15 seconds and they're like, it took 15 seconds. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm sorry about that 15 seconds.
Just take them to a room.
That's
it, but who cares? Because they're just how they are. They don't realize what goes into it. They see Instagram, they see a guy on Instagram with a nice car and money and everything, and they don't realize all the countless hours that he or she spent in the office busting their ass.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm so glad I can tune all that nonsense out. It doesn't matter to me. It's just so irrelevant. It's so unimportant.
Yeah.
And what's also funny is I saw a meme, not a meme, but a picture recently that showed a stadium. It showed a ton of seats in a stadium, and it showed one guy there, and it said your supporters before, and then it showed a full stadium of people, and it said after, once you're successful. And I find that to be the truest thing. While you're in the process, you have a small podcast like I do. It's nothing big. I get a lot of good feedback, but people, they don't know where it's going to go. It doesn't have 100,000 subscribers yet where they can say, wow, you made it, bro. I knew you could do it. So they're sitting there on the sidelines going, oh, wow, he's consistent. It seems like he's going to do well, but let's see. I don't know. Part of that, definitely there are some of them that say, there's a part of me that doesn't really want him to do well because then I'm going to feel shitty about myself because I'm not doing well. And then once you get there, everyone shows up and goes, hey, man, I knew you could do it. You're great. And it's like, where the hell were you up until now?
You have those, but it's really interesting because the bigger you get, the more haters you're going to find.
That's fine.
But you know what they say? They hate us because they ain't us. All right?
Damn straight. Damn straight.
Yeah.
But that's how you know you're making an impact. You can't make any sort of major impact in any given thing without having the haters. It's impossible.
The haters. Yeah.
Dumb haters. Yeah.
I'll get you.
We covered a hell of a lot of ground, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
I this entire time thought your last name was different, so now this is an eye-opener. So it's Ettedgui.
So you pronounce it with like every letter in there. So Ettedgui. Ettedgui. Yeah.
It's a very difficult name. You probably had a tough time with finals, with tests.
Oh, I'm telling you, man.
Any
like
teacher,
one out of 100 was actually pronouncing it right. And then like when I hear it right, I'm like, yeah, that's right. Wow.
Other than a French person, how does anyone get it right?
That's not French. That's Moroccan.
Oh,
that's
okay,
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The first name is French, very French, and the last name is very Moroccan.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. That totally makes sense.
I was born in the U.S. I was born in West Hollywood, California, but my dad is Moroccan and my mother is French.
Oh, okay, very cool.
Yes.
So that's, yeah, okay, that makes sense because most French Jews are either Moroccan or Algerian or whatever.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I mean, France was like one of the main colonizers over there in North Africa, so.
Yep.
That's probably not a great word right now to use, huh? Colonizers. So
Whatever, we're not going to get all political on that. But,
yeah, it's like,
anyways.
yeah, for another episode.
Well,
you can watch his other episodes.
Stay tuned because I go pretty. By the way, the one I'm putting out this Monday is very controversial, and I take a pretty. I gave the non-Israeli Jews a pretty hard time, honestly. So if you have a moment to listen to it,
I do, and you know what? It's one of the main reasons why I absolutely wanted to join your podcast and your YouTube show, because I think that your guests are wonderful and the topics are extremely diverse, and every one of those topics hit home for me. So, because I have a lot of family in Israel, and my grandmother is buried in Israel. My family did, time in the army as well. So, yeah, I'm very happy to be here, and I'm honored. And I think that you're going to do really great. Like, this channel is fucking awesome.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's definitely. I watched this video recently just about how in the beginning of doing anything you expect things to go easily, and then you get hit in the face, and that's it. You have to keep jumping over those hurdles, and eventually it comes. I know it. I'm 100% sure. There's no debate in my mind. Like it might take 6 years to see any real change. I don't believe it will. I believe it'll happen a lot sooner. But I accept that reality, and it doesn't deter me. That's really what it comes down to. And it's just always, you see those pictures of these guys digging for diamonds, and there's this massive diamond that they quit too soon. That kind of thing. So it's really just all about that.
Yeah.
So. Margot, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. I'm going to drop your social media link so everyone can check it out, guys. Make sure to check out her content.
Thank you.
If you need anyone from mortgages, get in touch with her. And as always, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button because I see a lot of you are watching and not subscribing. So subscribe.
How dare you?
Ridiculous. Subscribe, like, share with the family, share with the dog, share with everybody. And as always, make sure to tune in on Sundays for new episodes. That's it. It's a wrap.
Amazing.